A truly historic, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? Has it arose on Reverb? Let's find out. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. So let's take a look at this listing today. Offered is a Fender 25th Anniversary Stratocaster 1979 with original hardshell case, new in box. Okay, new old stock gear is just really fascinating to me, especially when it's old, like 70s, 80s, maybe if you're lucky even before, but you always have to be worried about, was it actually refinished? Is it actually what the seller is saying it is? I mean, I've had some really clean guitars in my day, from 25 50th Anniversary Les Pauls that still have the plastic coating on top of the pickguard that are in clean shape, to my Black Beauty 82, which is ridiculously clean minus a touch-up. But in my eyes, the only truly new old stock guitar I've ever had was actually this Marauder right here, because you never see those things with their correct satin finishes ever. So when a viewer of the show sent me this listing, I thought we should check it out. Alright, so the 25th Anniversary Stratocaster. What makes it interesting is it's celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Stratocaster, 1954 through 1979. There's a few main things to know about these that make them special. First off is the silver finish. You can see this one is still very nice and silver yet. However, if we go to the used market to see what is generally available, yeah, yellowed out city, because a yellow clear coat over top of the silver paint just turns it into that kind of golden hue. So you can kind of make it into a 50th anniversary Stratocaster if it gets gold enough. But besides the finish, they also read anniversary right here on the top bout. That's something, I mean, you're either gonna dig it or not. This was when limited edition anniversary guitars were kind of a new thing. You didn't really see that too much in the 50s and 60s, and that's when the solid body guitar was really first introduced, so it's these big milestone years when all the manufacturers started to jump in on it. I don't know which one was first, I just know I fell in love with the 70s and 80s Norland era of Gibsons because of their cool limited editions and anniversary models. So naturally, when I was buying one of my first Stratocasters, I had thought about buying one of these 25th anniversary Stratocasters instead of the Antigua Strat that I got. But let's be real here. A silver finish, yeah, that's cool, but just the words anniversary on your guitar? Yeah, it's kind of lame, I'll agree with you. But there is something that actually makes this guitar more special as compared to a regular 70s Strat. If you need to learn more about those, check out this video right here. Are 70s Strats truly garbage? Well, one thing that traditionalists in the Stratocaster world hate are the 3-bolt necks of the 70s. This model does not have that. It actually has a 4-bolt-on neck. So if you were born in 79 and you've always wanted a Stratocaster that's from your birth year that has to have the 4-bolt neck, yeah, you can get it. You've got the full-on 4 screws right here. So normally these will have like a big F on them and you've got your serial number. But this looks strangely modern in the fact that it says 25th anniversary. It's got the 2 years. I mean, this is what it's going to be like, all these modern day anniversaries and reissues when people see them like 40, 50 years in the future. But that's the only undesirable feature that they changed on these things. It still has the big giant Fender headstock. You either dig that or you don't. So special finish, special wording, 4-bolt neck. Kind of cool. So now let's go back to our new old stock one. It's beautiful, right? Perfect, pristine finish. It's got all the case candy that you rarely ever still see with the guitar. But whoa, wait, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 4 boxes? This is the true reason that I wanted to share this listing. This guy has more than one new old stock one. Apparently 2 of these are still even sealed, which is just absolutely crazy to see the CBS sealing tape still on here. So his listing says, take your pick. In original box, never been opened. He wants $10,000 each, or no box, pristine, never been on display or sold for $250 cheaper. So it's not really clear to me how many does he actually have. Is it just the 2 sealed ones and then one that doesn't have a box and these other ones are part of his personal collection? Or they're a different guitar? I'm not quite too sure. So $10,000. Why is it only $8,000 here? It's because this guy's in Canada. So that's Canadian money we're talking about here. And I was getting sent this listing all the time about 3 months ago. And even before that, this was a relatively old listing, like 5 months at that point. Here it is 8 months, no takers, or maybe he's just taking a payment and not taking this particular listing down. But a lot of people were wanting me to comment on the price. I mean, that seems fairly reasonable. For a lot of people, they might think, $8,000? I mean, people spend that much for a custom shop. This is brand new 79s. I mean, you gotta remember, it's from a slightly less desirable part of Fender's history. But that doesn't mean that there's not still collectors of it and people who are just fans of the brand and look back fondly to this era. But let's go back to these other listings. We can see one for $2,000, one for $3,000. I mean, that just seems to be the general range here, depending on condition and originality. So then when you see one at $8,000, you're like, whoa, that's quite a jump. I mean, in fact, let's look at Reverb's listing here, because they track them, so we can actually see what they sell for. Ooh, even lower than it was looking like. This makes it seem like $15,000 to $2,000 is about what you should be paying. But again, you can't always see what was original on the guitar looking at these things. That's why you got to do a little bit more digging. But maybe $3,000 for a nice clean one. So my question to you, is one of these things really worth 2.5 times that amount? And my answer is maybe. It really depends who you are. Should you buy this guitar if you're just looking for a really nice clean one that you want to play? No. Should you buy one of these if you're looking for an investment piece? That's tricky. This is more so for an active guitar museum that can make money off of displaying something absolutely this pristine. I mean, having the COA for one of these is just ridiculous. Back then, nobody kept that stuff. I don't think I've ever seen one with one of these things yet. So things like that have significant value to them just in themselves. I mean, having the original box, there's collectors who would really get excited for that. I mean, for me personally, I hate having original boxes because I feel like I have to keep them, and something this old, yes, you do. But trust me, that stuff takes up a lot of space. The other person I could see this being an awesome buy for is somebody who always wanted this guitar, who saw them brand new in the stores and has lusted after it. You can ask Grandma to make it right now and have her purchase the guitar for you. So yeah, it's here, $8,500. He's open to offers. I'm sure you could probably haggle him down a bit, but I don't know his situation. However, I wouldn't suggest buying one of these in original box, never open type situations, because you have no idea what's actually in one of these boxes. Technically, it's against Reverb's terms and conditions to sell something like this. Generally, that's pointed towards like newer guitars. So I feel like this one kind of falls into a gray area because sure, there might be some hidden value between one that's never even been unboxed, but that's your problem. It's never been unboxed. What if Fender messed up and put just a regular Stratocaster in this box? Or they forgot to put a guitar in it at all. Or worse yet, there's a big crack running down the body. This is why collectors who store things that have never been opened boggle my mind, because in 30, 40 years, you might open it up to find some damage that could have been resolved had you had opened it sooner. Can you imagine the heartbreaking feeling if something like that did happen? But at the same time, it's really cool that you have this mystery box that appears to still be sealed. But I'm sure you're pretty curious about the story of these. Apparently, they were purchased by an authorized Fender dealer, and he placed them into a guitar vault. And he sold a few of them at his store, but then the rest he just forgot about. Maybe he passed on and his family's selling them, or he's just decided long enough is long enough. This is certainly an interesting find on Reverb, but it opens up an interesting possibility. Imagine, had this have been done 25 years earlier, a brand new old stock 1954 sealed in box. Now that could get interesting. But since we've got a little bit of time left today, let's talk about a couple other guitars I've been eyeing. Alright, so I want to talk about this one because I need to drive home the point. Just because you have a one-off limited edition guitar does not necessarily make it valuable. There's two main things that determine if a guitar is valuable. A is rarity. So in this case, it's a 2004 race winner of the Nashville Superspeedway. Kind of an interesting Les Paul. It's even a custom shop. But the second part of the equation is desirability. How many people want this? When you have a one-off guitar that nobody wants, no, it's not going to be valuable. But if you have a one-off guitar that everybody wants, now that's when things get interesting. So what we have here is kind of one of those promotional era guitars that was done up for a reason. We already talked about that. This is a flat top Les Paul Special, done up custom shop style. I mean, this isn't even painted on graphics. It's just bolted onto the top, kind of like those New Century Les Pauls. It is a custom shop, so it's going to have some intrinsic value to it just from that. But generally, stuff like this, you have to discount it to sell. I mean, I love my Donzi Les Pauls. I think they're cool, but unless you're a speedboat fan, you're probably not going to pay a premium. but this listing was for nearly $10,000. But what's kind of funny is I've been following this guitar for like the past year now, and it's been changing hands so many different times. So eventually these sellers realize, yeah, there's not too much going on with this thing. So currently it's at Golden State Guitars here in Anaheim, California. They have a little bit more of a modest price tag of $3,300, but still not a lot of love for this poor thing. It's just gonna get passed on. It just has such a limited market to it. But yeah, it's still a quirky Gibson, so hopefully one day it'll find some love, but until that day, it's going to sit on reverb. What do I think this could actually sell for? I think 18 would probably be pushing it. So now this next one, I want to quiz you guys on it. I'm just going to show you these photos. We've got like a black and white pattern on here, almost road-like. There were probably very few of these things made. The back says Abbey Road on it with what looks like a UK flag or something. This case tells us it's within the mid to late 90s. And it says sample on the back. And we have a concept drawing with it. So potentially rare, but is it desirable? You can bet your butt it is, because it has something to do with the Beatles. So apparently Gibson was going to do an Abbey Road Les Paul custom, and they only produced 2 of these prototypes. But unfortunately, this whole idea was scrapped because one of the core people involved with this became ill during it. So this one didn't surprise me that it sold, and they probably got a pretty good price for it. And to be honest, I'm kind of sad that it didn't exist. Even though I don't know that much about the Beatles, this is a cool design. However, I think I like the concept drawing right here even better, because you've got that whole crosswalk going on the middle of the fretboard. That's nice. Next up, I've got some more crazy artwork for you. Check out this double cut. It's got such an intricate pattern to it. This is one of those times where I personally find that this artwork is very tasteful. I mean, it's not what I would normally associate with a guitar, but a lot of times I find double cuts to be a little bit plain looking, so having something exotic and eye-catching is very attractive. You've got the blues, the creams, they matched it with the pickup covers. Kind of gives me like Aztec-like vibes to it. But sadly, they didn't do the back, but maybe at the same time, that was a good idea. That one was listed at $2,000 though, whereas generally a guitar like this probably worth between $900 and $1,400. So if they sold it, they got a nice premium. Speaking of cool custom paint jobs, check out this Eddie Van Halen one. So this was a Melody Maker Explorer, and this guitar goes really well with this paint job. They did it up as a tribute to him, years 1955 through 2020. And they've got Eddie right here with the guitar that he's known for, on a slightly lesser guitar that he's known for. I'm kind of surprised they didn't take like at least a small chunk out of it down here. But I love the way that they've painted over this pickguard to make it seem like there's almost not a pickguard. So this is not a full-size Explorer. They're actually pretty shrunken down. And just having that single bridge humbucker in here with a wrap tail piece that they put an intonatable one on, that's just a quirky rocker. Now I'm curious, did they do the back of this? Well, they did the headstock, so that's looking good. Yeah, these things kind of have a quirky Melody Maker-like headstock to them. But oh nice, they did. They did the whole backside of it. That's a good tribute. It was done well and it was done right. And we've even got a nice Seymour Duncan back here. Custom shop even. And that was available at $1,300. All right, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.